What's up, truckers? Tricky Mick here. I hope you're doing well today and that you've got the shiny side up, as I like to say. Today we're talking about when the shiny side goes down. That's right, fatal crashes involving trucks are up 49% over the last 10 years. And we're going to be looking at maybe some of the reasons that are causing that, as well as the data to show what exactly is going on. So first off, I'm going to show you. This is an accident on I-94 eastbound in Dearborn, Michigan. 4-truck wreck, and this is a common area for accidents like this to happen. It's a 55-mile-per-hour zone. You're often seeing trucks, passenger vehicles, all going way over the speed limit, sometimes double in the case of passenger vehicles. Not a whole lot to say about this particular accident. You know, it's the same as you'll always see across the country. 3 or 4 trucks involved, a fire, things like that. It's not uncommon to see this nowadays when you're on the road traveling across the country. So let's look into the data a little bit and go from there. So in 2022, 5,837 large trucks were involved in a fatal crash, an increase of 1.8% from 2021, but a 49% increase in the last 10 years. The involvement rate per 100 million large truck miles traveled is up 3% from 2021 and up 24% in the last 10 years. Large trucks in this case are defined as any medium or heavy truck, not including buses and motorhomes, with a gross vehicle weight rating greater than 10,000 pounds. Both commercial and non-commercial vehicles are included. So large trucks accounted for 6% of all vehicles involved in fatal crashes and 10% of all total vehicle miles traveled. And here you can see large truck involvement in fatal crashes, 2008 to 2022. This is the lowest that we have on the chart in 2009 with 3,211, up to now 5,837. Now these are fatal crashes where someone died. Absolutely tragic. This should not be happening, and there's a number of reasons that this might be happening here. And then, as you'll see, also per 100 million miles traveled, the accidents are going up as well, from 1.1 per 100 million miles traveled to 1.78. I mean, that's a massive, massive increase here, and it's showing about 37%. And then now here we have down here the large truck involvement in injury crashes. Here in 2009, you're looking at 53,000. In 2022, 120,200. That's a massive increase. And there's a couple of reasons, like I said. Now here's people killed in crashes involving large trucks by person type. Starting in 2009, truck occupant 14%, 14.8% to be exact, went all the way up to 18.5%. So the numbers are, I guess it depends on the way you're looking at it, but the occupants in semi-trucks are going up versus in the vehicles themselves went down. So I think that has a lot to do with vehicles becoming safer as time has gone on. Modern vehicles have 5, 10 airbags, if not more, depending on what they are. And vehicles in general are a lot safer than they used to be in the past. Now here we have people injured in crashes involved by person type. Again, truck occupant 21.9% versus in 2022 up to 26.1%. But if you see overall, the number has gone up, almost exponentially. Now here we have an overview of where it's happening: rural versus urban. 46% in the urban areas and 53.98% in the rural areas, which is what you would expect. I would think it would be a lot higher in rural areas than in urban, but there's more people, so maybe that makes sense. Roadways, interstate versus non-interstate, time of day, nighttime versus daytime. Obviously, there's more drivers during the day than night. And work zone 4.5% versus not work zone 95.4%. So at least people are. It seems to be they behave a little bit better in the work zones. And then if you look by the months, this kind of follows freight trends, September, October, right before the holiday season. And, as the fall off happens again here towards January and February, it starts to get a little bit lower. So what are some of the reasons that this is happening? I think one of the biggest ones that I have here is the deteriorating road conditions. States where road conditions are deteriorating fastest. And I'll leave the links below here in the description for you. So most states see road deterioration since 2000. Some states you see here have negative 20%. Some are a little bit better, 10 to 20%, but not many. So let's get started with the best one. We're looking at Arkansas, up 26.8%. So currently, well, not exactly currently, but 2020, 92% of the roads in acceptable condition versus 65% in 2000. So that state got better. Let's go down here in the middle a little bit. You know, as these states are pretty much the same here. Once you get to South Dakota, West Virginia's getting worse. Oregon, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Michigan, this is where I'm from, so just under 84% were acceptable in 2000, and that dropped down to 78.6% in 2020. And I think it's a lot worse today in 2024 than it was. So things are not exactly getting better for most of the country. Now, if we go all the way down here to the bottom, you'll see Rhode Island. Now, Rhode Island had 85% acceptable road conditions in 2000, down to 51% in 2020. So that's a massive drop. And if we look here, it seems like the larger trend is for states to get worse, not better. And again, this is a couple of years old, so we need some newer data to show exactly what's going on today. But as most of us have been on the roads for a while, we think that things are getting a little bit worse. Now here's another thing to point out. As the truck spot rates and fuel start counteracting each other, drivers are forced to try and make time up so that they can get more loads and get more miles in and make more money. You know, we had a pretty good time in trucking around post-COVID era right there, where, you know, July of 2020, January 2021, fuel was at a low price and spot rates were climbing. And then again, here in January 2022, it's still not looking too bad. But as you start getting into the summer of 2022, you know, fuel rates just went absolutely bonkers, and they haven't really gone down to previous rates. So drivers, well, owners more so than drivers, are having to make up miles and drive further, longer hours, and do things that they wouldn't otherwise have to do to make the same amount of money they were previously. And if you look here in the data, it does kind of correlate a little bit to 2021, 2022, more accidents happening. So that might be a little correlation right there. And then here we have another issue that I think is a lot more prevalent than people want to admit. People who shouldn't have CDLs are getting CDLs, and it's probably easier than it's ever been to get a CDL for many people. So here we have on FreightWaves, a third-party tester sentenced to 2 years in CDL bribery screen. Feds say Idaho man accepted nearly $38,000 in bribes over 3 years. Former third-party CDL skills tester was recently sentenced to 2 years in prison for his role in a 3-year bribery screen. In February, Kelly and Goodman, 72, of Gooding, Ohio, pleaded guilty to 1 count of honest services wire fraud in the U.S. District Court for the District of Idaho. According to the release issued in late June, he specifically pleaded guilty to accepting a bribe in return for giving an individual a passing score on the Idaho CDL skills test on August 31st, 2021. Prior to his arrest, Goodman had worked as a third-party CDL skills tester for the Idaho Department of Transportation from the 90s until 2021. According to the plea agreement, Goodman accepted numerous bribes between December 2017 and May 2020, which totaled nearly $38,000 in exchange for providing passing scores on the Idaho skills test. U.S. District Court judge also ordered Goodman to pay $38,000. It's not immediately clear whether anyone was charged with offering bribes to Goodman. Again, so we have quite a few issues going on here in the trucking industry where people are getting licenses who shouldn't have them. We've also got distracted driving. There's a number of issues, but this all points to one major trend. Trucking is significantly less safe than it was 10 years ago, and it's only getting worse as time goes on. So what do you think? Do you have any ideas of how we can fix this problem? Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and maybe let us know in the comments below what you think on how we can solve this problem.